Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to HBCU Gameday. I'm Tolly Carr in Atlanta, and we are going to catch up with my man. He is my brother from another mother. And let me tell you, those mother-son photos he posts on Facebook or something else, they are hilarious from back in the day. All right, let's check in with my man, Uncle Neely from the Pregame show. And as you can see, Uncle is like, where is Waldo? Where is Neely? Neely, you and I were chatting last night during that terrible blowout game. I said, Neely, you have become like a star of your own reality show. People want to know, where is Neely? Where's Neely going? Where is Neely's allegiance? I don't like that Neely did this. I'm in full support of Neely. Everybody's talking about Neely, so I said to myself, Neely is better for business than he has ever been. So let's lean into more of my man, Uncle Neely, who we find right now in Boulder, Colorado. Right, so, Neely, listen, they're not going to tell the story of Deion Sanders, the former Jackson State head coach. He's now there at Colorado. You have followed him. Neely, you remind me of Muhammad Ali's brother. He was there, taking all the pictures. He was there for the entire journey and chronicled everything, the man behind the scenes. Neely, let's lay it out, because the people want to know, man. What is your mission now? What is your goal? What are you doing? Where are you going to be? Tell us what's up with Neely in 23.
You know, more of the same with 2022. The location does not matter. We're going to tell these stories, chronicle these stories about Coach Prime and what he has accomplished while at a HBCU and what he is doing being the first coach to move from an HBCU to a Power 5 and brought a good number of staffers, not only from Jackson State, but Mississippi Valley as well. So the story continues. There were players from HBCUs that will be joining this program, their staff, support staff, video crew, you name it, that are now out here in Boulder. So we're going to continue to tell that story of the impact that Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, has made on HBCUs and where he goes next in the Power 5 and beyond. So looking forward to just being here, being that fly on the wall, and capturing all of that information and sharing it with the world.
All right, I know the answers to the question, but I got to serve the people. Are you going to also be in Jackson? Are you still covering the Tigers? Are you going to split your time? Like, what's going to happen here?
Well, the goal is to split the time and to cover all things that are Jackson State football, cover all things that are Deion Sanders and Coach Prime, and what those things lead to. So, you know, Jackson State has opponents. We'll be covering those. We hope to cover Jackson State and be inside just like we were before. But we're going to focus on controlling what we can control. And right now, what we're controlling is this market space of Deion Sanders and his influence in the role of Coach Prime. So we're here capturing these stories, man, and interviewing coaches who made the transition from Mississippi to Colorado. All of that content you'll be able to find on the Pregame Show page, on YouTube and beyond. It's an exciting time, man, here in Boulder, Colorado.
And just so people know, and we're not going to sit here and explain this from week to week, but since it's been such a thing, this is a historical moment. Now, there are probably still some lingering feelings and some lingering emotions, but to have a coach leave an HBCU, his quarterback, his number one recruit, several assistant coaches, I think 6 total Jackson State players have transferred to Colorado. Neely, we have never seen anything like this before. A lot of it can kind of get lost in the sauce because Deion Sanders is such this big thing. But this is a historic moment in college football history. It just does, this is not a regular occurring thing. And to capture it, man, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to it. I am still a huge fan of Shedeur Sanders, of Shiloh, the entire family, of Travis Hunter, Automatica, all those kids, to me personally. The first thing out of my mouth is going to be, hey, they started at J-State. They always have that J-State swag, no matter if it's at Colorado, in the NFL, the XFL, wherever they made their football journey will carry them. So let's start there. Just being around the program, what type of transition, getting acclimated to new environment, new conference, new everything, are the kids from Jackson State? From what you have seen, how is that going, Neely?
Well, I'm going to go back a little bit, Tolly, and not start right there, even though you asked me.
You're the boss. You're the boss. Go ahead.
I want to go back to where you said about explaining this thing. And you're exactly right. This is not going to be something I'm going to be in the business of explaining to folks who are still in their feelings and grieving and upset and that kind of thing. Because although I'm sensitive to that, we can't let time go by where you say, okay, now I'm with it, and we go do it. Too much of history is lost in. So we can't afford for people to get over their feelings and then start. We got to start before they get over their feelings. Someone has to be there to tell the stories, to capture the information, even while wounds may still be open or healing. I will also say, from a very small minority when you're looking at the comments. Most of the folks are excited about this and recognize that, as you have articulated, Tolly, the historical nature of this. To have a coach go from an HBCU to a Power Five, to bring assistant coaches with him who were at HBCUs, including, if you look at the rivalry of it, a rival HBCU of Mississippi Valley with Coach Dancy being here, the players who were at HBCUs that are following him here. Those stories and that history are important blueprint, and we don't know where these stories are going to end up, but we have to be here to tell them. Because once you start at an HBCU, no matter where you go in life, you take that HBCU with you. So you're going to see some things in Boulder that you've never seen in Boulder before, because you're going to have that Jackson State influence with Coach Prime and his players and staff as they bring that culture here, a winning culture, I might add, because we can't get lost in back-to-back undefeated conference and conference championships while at Jackson State. This has never been seen before in the history of college football. I'm blessed, lucky, and happy to be a part of it and capturing all this information.
All right, let's get to the kids now. How would you say, from what you've seen, their transition into a totally new everything?
Yeah, most of them are, school will be starting next week, and most of them are getting here this week to find places to live and that kind of thing. Of course, Shedeur Sanders is here, and you can see on his social media the happiness and smile on his face. And he even did a very well done, put together shout out to Jackson State and his love for Jackson State and the people of Jackson, and his social media, something that he did not have to do, but just his character. And you see the appreciation, and that, hey, I'm not abandoning Jackson State. That place has been near to dear to me. You're going to see me in future homecomings at Jackson State as my career goes on. Travis Hunter has been here getting settled. A lot of the other players are trickling in, not just from JSU, but other schools. So we'll be here, in January and February, and seeing how their transition is going, and show you the good, bad, and the ugly of how this thing is working. Because Boulder ain't Jackson, Mississippi. The Pac-12 ain't the SWAC. And these guys got their start in Jackson and in the SWAC. And we're going to see how this transition goes for them from not just a football standpoint, but from a human standpoint.
The SWAC Rookie of the Year, Kevin Coleman Jr., who was a big part of the offense there at Jackson State, he was in the portal, did not go to Colorado, did not follow his former coach and some of his teammates. He actually ends up at the University of Louisville. He's going to play in the ACC. That was a real big story for us at HBCU Gameday.com. Neely, were you surprised that Coleman ended up at Louisville?
I was not. Not at all, because everyone has to make their own choice and decision this thing. Just because you were on a team at Jackson State doesn't mean that you fit the team at Colorado, whether that fit is in an athletic standpoint and metrics and so forth, or just a cultural and geographical fit. We wish Kevin Coleman the best. Tolly, what I say, once a Tiger, always a Tiger. He did an exceptional job at Jackson State, and I'm looking forward to him having much success as the Louisville Cardinal, just as I am for these guys to be successful as Colorado Buffaloes. So I wasn't shocked, that Kevin Coleman made that decision, because it is a personal decision. Everybody just thinks, oh, well, Deion's going to take everybody. Coach Prime is going to do this. These are young men developing their talents. They have families. They have goals, they have aspirations, and sometimes those things don't line up, and it does not mean that one party is wrong or the other is right. It just wasn't a fit, and they make a choice to go elsewhere.
Look, man, what type of fishing is Travis going to do there in Colorado? What do you get the ice snapper up there? What's the fishing like?
I have no idea, but he has certainly been talking about it. I think they do a little fly fishing out here where you got to get in the water. He's a bank guy like myself. I don't know if he deals with a lot of boats and wading, but he's excited to be here because he is an outdoor guy. And there's a lot of, activities here in and around Boulder, high quality of life. So he's been bouncing around, playing a lot of basketball and, continuing to get stronger, because we still haven't seen, that 100% Travis Hunter coming off the injury from high school, which he had a surgical repair at Jackson State and, was limiting his performance here. And just as the season was getting midway and upwards, you saw what he can do. And now you're going to get to see a Travis Hunter at 100% in the Pac-12. And I'm excited for him to be able to show and prove that, hey, this ain't no fluke. I am as advertised.
We have seen a lot of Travis Hunter on the Amazon docuseries, Coach Prime. 4 episodes have dropped. And I think I had a total of 10 seconds maybe. I think I had about 4 seconds on camera. I think I heard my voice for another 6 seconds. Nowhere near the FaceTime of Neely, who was just all over this thing, which I'm not jealous, just pointing that out. What would you say has been the impact when you look at that, and how much importance, how much value would you put on that docuseries that really just took you right inside that Jackson State program on Amazon Prime?
I think it's immeasurable. You went from having a documentary on Barstool to now having it on Amazon Prime. That's more eyes that get to see what Jackson State has to offer, to get to see programmatically what was built there and what will continue there under TC Taylor. So I think that you couldn't put a dollar value on it. When you look at 60 Minutes, Sports Illustrated covers, when you look at what happened with Good Morning America and Strahan and the Suit donations, et cetera, and the list goes on all the way to Jimmy Fallon and the Tonight Show. And to have that documentary end the Coach Prime era at Jackson State still shows the value and what can and will continue to happen at HBCUs, particularly Jackson State, from that exposure. Everybody's not going to a Power 5. Everybody's not going to Colorado, but you're going to see a continued uptick in the conversations and support of HBCUs because of what was happening under Coach Prime the past 3 seasons at Jackson State.